quite a lovely starliner. Nothing but the best for the Society, eh?
Hello. Are you a member of the Society?
Have you tried the canopies? Horrid. Positively horrid.
That view is absolutely spectacular, isn't it?
Quite an event they're throwing today, don't you think?
Kind of power.
Hello.
I'm glad it is
You
in
here
your
for
hands.
the charity event? Oh, absolutely. I'm a firm believer that attending these types of events tends to absolve one of their sins and cleanse their soul. But something tells me you're not really here to discuss the event. What did you really want to talk about? Well, I work for UC Security, meaning that business isn't exactly my area of expertise. I'm afraid I can't really help you. If you're looking for a business opportunity, you might want to check with someone else. You mean specifically? Oh, I work for the Corporate Fraud Division. We monitor all of the major megacorp financials and transactions to ensure that nothing improper occurs. You're asking a lot of strange questions. What exactly do you want? Claudia sent you, did she? Look, friend, I don't know if you're just a little drunk, maybe a touch crazy, or both. Whatever you think you know about me, you're dead wrong. So back off.
We both know exactly who you are.
Sure, go ahead. If it makes you feel better, you can take it right to the top of mast. Anything you try to report will boil down to your word against mine. And since I work for UC Security, who do you think people will believe?
I would like a chance to talk to you, if you are able.
I've done this particular cruise run several times, and I can assure you that the route is quite safe.
Hello. Are you a member of the Society?
You've had your time to talk. Now piss off.
I have been thinking about what we talked about before. The idea of purpose in one's life. You agreed with me that true purpose can be a driving force in life. I found that comforting. But something has been nagging at me since. I have been single-minded in my pursuits. I have always believed the decisions I made were necessary, that there was no other option. I have sacrificed much to be where I am now. And I'm starting to wonder if it has been worth it. Thank you. I have always believed, no, hoped, that is true. I have told you that I am not one to discuss my past. And yet, I find myself increasingly compelled to do so. To make sense of myself. Perhaps now is a good time to start then. I promised to provide for my family. That meant working with smugglers to procure supplies we could not acquire any other way. I have spent my adult life away from my home, jumping from one planet to the next, living in dangerous conditions, often surrounded by violence. It certainly influenced the way I see the universe. I was convinced from the beginning that it was unwise to let anyone get too close. I had, maybe not quite friends, but people I cared about. Yet there was always a distance I could not reach across. I often find other people complicated and confusing. It seemed easier to not become attached, especially when circumstances meant I might never see them again, with no warning. Until now, I have disagreed strongly with that idea. But therein lies my concern. Being a part of Constellation, traveling with you, I have been questioning a great many things. What I am trying to say is that I now wonder whether it has been the right decision to distance myself from others. I appreciate that more than you know.
I told you to stay out of my way. I meant it.
Here for business or pleasure? Pleased to make your acquaintance.
These are such a gift. Your enemies might disagree.
I saw your little exchange with Vera. Keep that up and I guarantee that imbecile's gonna demand that you be arrested. Which is why he's threatening you. That makes sense. We need hard evidence of their scheme. But it's gonna be tricky. The problem is he's not gonna talk to you in public. We need to get Vera isolated so he'll spill everything he knows. Smart. If there's an emergency, standard practice is for all passengers to clear the decks and report to their cabins for lockdown. I think the best chance we have would be to tamper with the life support sensors. Manipulate a few controls, and you can fool the monitoring system into thinking there's a life support failure. And there you have your emergency.
Well, sounds like someone has been reading Starship manuals in their spare time.
I have no idea what all of that technical jargon meant. It caused enough confusion, and it will buy us plenty of time. One more thing. If Chief Engineer Sundin gives you any trouble, tell him I'll erase that gambling debt he owes me. I prefer you use that as a last resort, but hey, what's the harm in losing a few credits when I'm on the brink of rejoining the fleet, right? Anyway, I better start packing. Things are getting hot around here, and won't be long before Trident figures out you had help. On the surface, he's an upstanding citizen of the United Colonies, pretty high up in UC security. Lots of clout with Mast. Underneath, he's a greedy piece of garbage. Given the chance, he'd backstab you for a cret stick and pin the murder on someone else. Come to think of it, if he wasn't such a petty tyrant, he'd probably thrive with the Crimson Fleet. All passengers are instructed to immediately report to their cabins. That way we keep the holes clear and avoid a panic. Fortunately for us, all of the passenger cabin doors will automatically unlock. This is normally to ensure the crew can check cabins quickly and without interference. But in our case, it's like having an all-access pass. There's access to the crew section that you can reach through the Starfield ballroom. Chief Sundin should be there, wasting time at his station as usual. Have fun with that guy. He's a real piece of work. Once you're past Sundin, just look for the room marked Environmental Control. Everything you need is inside. Get back to it.
I certainly hope they decide to hold all future side events full stop.
Hold up. This area is off limits to passengers. Wait a second. You're Captain Rocko's guest, right? Didn't expect to see you down here. Sorry to give you trouble. What can I do for you? Oh, sorry. That area is off limits. No exceptions. Ah, you're a fellow techie, huh? I can respect that. Tell you what, I'm just going to step out for a bit and stretch my legs. Maybe you can hold this for me while I'm away? Honestly, he's a seasoned ship captain. He told me he was a long hauler for years and the experience shows. Only thing is, he's always talking about trade deals and plans for get-rich-quick schemes. It's all the guy ever thinks about. Why he decided to be a Starliner captain, I'll never know. It's almost like he craves being around money. Tell you what, though, for someone that loves credit so much, he sure doesn't mind gambling them when we play cards. Yeah, a little. A few of the techs call this deck the Dungeon. I think you can see why. Not exactly Starliner-class comfort down here. Don't get me wrong. The quiet gives me time to gather my thoughts, catch up on work, and all that, but I'd rather work on the bridge. I'm the Siren's chief engineer. Trident put me in charge of the entire tech team. We do our best to keep the ship running smoothly and efficiently. Of course, this beauty is a cutting-edge piece of spacecraft design. Almost everything has triple redundancy, like the life support system. Unfortunately, that means there's quite a bit of downtime. Could be worse, though, right?
This is well maintained, to be sure, but obviously the credits have all been spent on the areas the guests actually see.
ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
Much nicer in here now. Plenty of room.
Our security team would appreciate if you'd please shelter in your cabin during this emergency. Thank you.
All passengers are being asked to return to their cabins at this time.
All passengers, may I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
I was wondering if you were the cause of the ship-wide emergency. It's time you stop playing games and tell me why you're here. You're working for Ikande's little anti-pirating outfit? So what? I have nothing to do with the Crimson Fleet. And even if I suddenly decided to stay loyal to the old UC, why would I possibly want to incriminate myself by handing over evidence? Claudia said that. You sure? Damn it! That means my money's already gone. And Dombrowski's going to walk away with a fortune. I'd love to see the bastard fry. But if I give you that information and it falls into the wrong hands, I could end up in jail. Oh, I've got everything you're gonna need. This is a one-stop shop for you. We're talking a slate loaded with dates, account numbers, ID scans, even an audio recording. It was my little insurance policy in case the shit hit the fan. There's a solid enough trail here to send Dombrowski straight to jail.
May I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
Dombrowski had the authorization to wipe out records on Galbank's system without raising any red flags. I let Claudia talk me into that. She said she had him wrapped around her finger. Apparently, she was wrong. At least I walk away with something. All right, you have yourself a deal. Here, with this slate and this recording to tie it all together, you'll be able to nail his ass to the wall. He'll do whatever you want. Just remember that you promised to leave me out of it. I wasn't lying when I said I didn't know anything about your undercover work, if that's what you're trying to imply. All I can tell you is that there's more than a few people at Mast who find Commander Akande to be a huge pain in the ass. I mean, the UC is aware that the Crimson Fleet is a problem, but it pales in comparison to the issues with the Freestar Collective. Akande's loaded with big-picture ideas, but not a ton of evidence to put them into action. And frankly, it's driving my superiors crazy. You better tell Dombrowski to run, because if you don't kill him, I will.
All passengers, may I have your attention, please? The captain has declared a ship-wide emergency. Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
Siren of the Stars is now in emergency status. Please remain calm and proceed to your cabin. There's no cause for alarm. I'm sure this is just a minor malfunction or a drill.
Alongside you is never dull.
Well, well. You must be the one who's been accosting Claudia and Gabriel. I'm uncertain what you hope to accomplish here, but it appears we should rapidly enter into some sort of negotiation. Excellent, excellent. So, before we begin, let's review the facts. First, it's clear that you've obtained insider knowledge of my arrangement to defraud Galbank. The means and the method, perhaps,
may I
but
have
not
your
the
attention,
motive.
please?
And second,
Captain has declared
I'm going to
a ship-wide
hypothesize that my
emergency.
compatriots are
Please report to your
despondent
cabins in an
regarding
orderly
their
fashion
share
and
and have
remain
assisted
there
you
until
with
you
this
receive
endeavor.
further instructions.
Since we're speaking and I'm not at the reporting end of a bullet, this leads me to conclude that you desire something personal from me. I see. Well, that certainly places a damper on our negotiations. Perhaps I can hasten my diatribe to temper your violence-ridden contribution. In blunt terms, you have compromising materials about me in your possession. The only thing I have to offer in return are my Galbank credentials. I assume that's what you've been angling for all along?
Will there be much more of this? My head is starting to hurt.
Splendid. It appears we've reached an accord. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me simplify that for you. It sounds like we have a deal. Oh, of course, I trust you'll understand if I ask for us to avoid any further contact. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to formulate how I'm going to utterly ruin two very annoying business associates. Good day.
Please report to your cabins in an orderly fashion and remain there until you receive further instructions.
Well, looks like everything worked out, just like we planned. I'm glad you feel that way. Just remember to tell Delgado how much I pitched in to help. You know, I'm still wondering exactly what you needed those credentials for. You feel like telling me, partner? Ah, so he told you to keep it from me. I see. I wouldn't want you to risk your position with the fleet like I did, so I'll just leave it alone. Anyway, I suppose there's nothing stopping me from rejoining the fleet now. It's been a long time coming. I owe you one, Overreach. Nonsense. If there's one universal constant you can depend on, it's that Yevgeny always makes good on his deals. Always. Well, I suppose this is where we part company. Hopefully the next time we meet, we'll be aboard the key.
And remain there until you receive further instructions.
This ship is in a state of emergency. Please return to your cabin immediately. This ship is in a state of emergency.